Mysterious intruder. After her adventure in the Shogun period of Japan, Riley felt herself tumbling through the time machine portal once again, wondering where she'd land this time. After a few minutes, she plopped down on a dusty courtyard surrounded by stone houses with clay-tiled roofs. While she struggled to raise herself up on her arms, she was quickly surrounded by a trio of armed soldiers wearing metal helmets and brass chestplates. Glancing around her surroundings, she noticed tall mountains rising up on every side. "Who are you?" one of the guards said in ancient Greek, squinting at her strange-looking kimono. My name's Riley," Riley stammered, surprised by how her time machine had once again enabled her to speak the local language. "How did you get here?" the guard said, pointing his spear threateningly in her direction. "And what is that strange costume you're wearing?" "It's kind of a long story," Riley said, peering around the courtyard at a group of well-muscled and scantily clad soldiers sparring with heavy swords and thick shields. "Is there someone in charge that I can talk to?" The soldier motioned toward one of the warriors who seemed to be supervising the training of the other soldiers, and the man walked over to Riley's position, peering at the young blonde girl with a curious expression. His costume was more ornate than the other soldiers, with a feathered headdress adorning his bronze helmet, an elaborately carved breastplate, and leather ribbons hanging from the hems of his linen tunic and padded skirt. Most of his face was obscured by the curved cheek plates of his helmet, but Riley could see his piercing blue eyes and square-set jaw protruding from the cutout of his mask, and he had a confident bearing indicating his position of authority. "What is this distraction that is keeping you from your stations?" the senior officer barked, annoyed at being pulled away from his other task. "I'm sorry, sire," one of Riley's captors said. "We found this intruder and weren't sure what to do with her." The officer peered at Riley for a moment, darting his eyes over her curvy figure bound tightly by her silk robe, then he chuckled dismissively. "She doesn't look like much of a threat to me," he said, fixing his gaze on Riley's bright green eyes. "Where are you from, young lady?" "Somewhere far away," Riley said, realizing no one would believe her improbable story of tumbling through time with her unusual time machine. "And how did you come upon our village of Sparta?" the officer said. "Sparta?" Riley thought, widening her eyes. "The famous Greek city-state of ancient legend?" "I just wandered here in my travels," she said, not sure how to explain her strange circumstances. The soldier bent down and ran his fingers along the inside of Riley's kimono lapel, rubbing his hand against the silky fabric. "You certainly don't look like you've been traveling very far," he said. "Where did you find this unusual uniform? The fabric isn't like anything I've seen before." Riley blushed as she felt the tips of his fingers brushing over the side of her breast. "It comes from a place on the other side of the sea," she said. "It's a bit difficult to explain." "Well, you'll have plenty of time to explain later," the officer said. "I'm afraid we'll have to keep you under guard until you can account for your whereabouts. For all we know, you could be a spy for the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?